Greetings, poetry lovers, and welcome to Poetryspective 87, the online international poetry extravaganza, and proudly sponsored by Pride of our Footscray Community Bar. My name is Lish, your MC of the eve, and we also have Colin Clark as co-MC. I am super excited about tonight. To quote Bernard from Black Books, tonight is going to be very, very good. You'll laugh, you'll cry, it'll change your life. Because we have the magnificent Laura Fisher, and Steve Smart will be giving a retrospective of Dorothy Parker. And I am looking forward to both of those features even more than I have enjoyed changing hats. We also have a wonderful open section tonight with poets from around the globe that have sent in videos, and of course local poets as well. So it is going to be such a great night. Sit back, relax and enjoy.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to take off my mask, just wearing it to show you what a good boy I am. Hello, good to see you all. Good evening to everyone back in Australia and wherever else you are in the world. Welcome to Poetryspective, our special Melbourne Lockdown 6 edition. I'm not actually in Melbourne at the moment. We were not able to get into our regular venue at Pride of our Footscray Community Bar, but I did manage to come to the next best place I think I could find. I'm right outside the world famous Tiffany Ladyboy show in Pattaya, Thailand. I'm flying the flag here for Footscray, as you can see, after that wonderful preliminary final win yesterday. So I'm very happy at the moment. Looking forward to the grand final in a couple of weeks of Australian football for those of you who are in other parts of the world. Well, we've got a treat for you tonight. We've got a fantastic selection of submitted videos as usual for our Poetryspective online show, and we've got a couple of our trusty regulars performing their feature presentations. Our feature presentation is Laura Fisher, who will be performing some of her own work on video, of course, and the wonderful Steve Smart is going to be performing the works of Dorothy Parker. So yeah, something to look forward to there. We're going to be doing a bit of a mix and match MCing thing with myself and Lish. I hope it's not too incoherent. We've recorded our videos kind of separately, so I don't think we'll be contradicting each other, but you never know. And every time I pop up, I'll probably be popping up from a different spot in Pattaya, just to show you a few of the interesting places around here. It's really a very interesting city if you've never been. Kind of, yeah, let's just leave it at interesting. Very quiet at the moment due to the COVID pandemic, much like Melbourne. We have fairly similar restrictions to Melbourne, 9 PM curfew. We are now allowed to dine out in restaurants and use our pools and things, so that's been quite nice. That's only been for a week or so though. I've been here a couple of months. But yeah, I mean, what's normally a really bustling, busy tourist town is very, very quiet. So many closed places. Tiffany's show behind me. This hasn't been running for quite a lot of months now. So anyway, there we go. So here's. I hope you enjoy my my little tastes of Thailand for you. And other than that, let's hope you enjoy the show. Take care, everyone. Look after yourselves. As those of you who are familiar with Poetryspective will no doubt be aware by now, it is a tradition here that the MC reads one of the works by the retrospective feature. As you're aware, tonight's retrospective feature is Steve Smart, and as such, I am going to read A Problem Unsolved, Alice, by Steve Smart. Where is the hole in the world where the world leaks out? Where is the hole in the world where the world leaks out? Where is the hole in the world where the world leaks out. Where is the hole in the world where the world leaks out? It's always like this, twisted slightly differently, exactly the same, only not quite. I mean to say that the feeling is predictable, foreshadowed by a sense of sinking and floating. Sinking and floating. Other voices, mine and not mine, like my own, but coming from other places, not my own throat, and then everything disappears a bit, fades and around, swirls around in a most unnerving fashion. When it becomes solid, solid, it sort of doesn't. And somebody always says, "Have you seen the Queen?" So tiresome, like there are other important questions to ask a person. Well, then in a sort of torpid rage, I reply calmly, "Why no, I haven't seen the Queen. The King told me she will be indisposed for some time." And they say, "How so?" And I reply most airily, oh, you know, but perhaps, could it be that you don't?" Never fails to put the poor things in a spin, and then off they rush, leaving me wondering where I am again, and whether things will be the same as last time. And they won't, you know. Sometimes the cat changes form to tease an anteater. Once it was an ostrich, a small pig, and then it disappears, one piece at a time. A cameo, you might call it. Yet, despite myself, I keep looking for the hole in the world where the world leaks out. Never in the same place twice, no consistency. No specific visual clues to lure the eyes. It just appears with little semblance of any reasonable circumspection or sense of propriety, boundaries, elucidating a plan that others may follow in due course, sticking to a story. Oh, why won't you? The hole does not know its place. Sometimes it isn't really a hole at all. I dare not walk into walls for fear I might walk out of them again. Have you found it? Found what? The hole in the world where the world leaks out. I have. Yes, but that was hours ago. The hole is never in the same place twice. It's inconsistent. It always is. The only way to find the hole in the world where the world leaks out is to not look for it, forget it ever existed. For example, if I believed very hard that this door was the hole I sought, well, it never would be. It might be the window behind me, that mouse hole, or you might simply open your mouth so wide that I stumble right into it, and there on the other side is a caterpillar, yawning and saying, "Have you seen the Queen? Have you seen the Queen? Why, yes, but she is indisposed." Inconsistent. Not at all. The Queen is always indisposed. That is what queens are. Always the Queen, always indisposed, always the same but different a bit. Always a hole, sometimes not a hole, sinking, floating, fading into something almost solid. If you do find the hole in the world where the world leaks out, be a dear and don't tell me about it. It's never in the same place twice. A most infuriating thing. Thank you.
Search
Charlie Maxwell Fryer of Greenvale trudges down the side path of the house where nobody goes, except the dog, meter reader, and leaves in the wind. Red stones the size of his button nose sound like cereal beneath his feet. Crunch, crunch, crunch as he explores the terrain. He establishes his roots immediately, shaking hands with the place, and begins. He spots a pipe protruding out of the ground with a fine woven screen just below the top to filter the rain. Some stones have gathered there. He did pop them there yesterday, but today Charlie is instinctively convinced that the stones don't belong there with the other stone friends, but with the other stone friends on the ground. So he gets his twinkle, twinkle hands and scoops them back onto the ground. Twinkle, twinkle, little hands, Charlie's transportation jams. The art of pop here, pop there. Next, Charlie spots another pipe. This one has gathered some rain and a single floating leaf. In its capped end, he fishes out the leaf, examines it. Can I eat this? Chucks it back. Then pops his hand back in and flicks the water around. This is a similar technique to his signature twinkle twinkle, but more of a twinkle twinkle little flicks, Charlie's transportation tricks. Then he decides to pick up some more stones and pop them in the pipe end so they can splash around together. More stones and more stones and more stones and more stones. Twinkle, twinkle, little stones, Charlie will transport you home. Fascinating stuff. He has just created a mini Andy Goldsworthy arrangement from the natural environment, transferring his twinkle, twinkle knowledge from high to low. This whirl at his fingertips, such clumsy conviction from the youngster, feeling to the edge of collapse. Such nourishment seeing this unfold, such effortlessness. Simple beauty that has always been there, but we were blind to it. If only we paid attention. Took the time to playfully encounter, shake hands with the place, and begin.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you come in. Good afternoon, Poetryspective. I hope everyone is doing well in these unprecedented times, and that everyone out there, that you are all looking after yourselves and being good to yourselves. I'd like to share a couple of pieces with you. This one is called My Friend Josephine. Friend Josephine can walk between the borders of an altered state of mind. We used to lurch together, anecdotes in beer gardens and Sunday afternoons that seemed to stretch beyond regret. I remember her as a bundle of anxiety, grinning in boots and black dress. When we just sit around and speculate as she tore the labels from her empty bottles. When she was up, she'd sing, and I'd light the candles above the keys, and we'd perform for an audience of startled passers-by. My friend Josephine. Tattoos are indiscretions, like a fresco of a life entire. And this second one is called I Wake Up. It's about that very peculiar time of morning. Wake up, holes torn in sleep, same coffee as yesterday, taking the inventory, the moon is still out, and the wind is gentle. This time of day doesn't have a name. I expect to hear the twang of double bass, or maybe a distant siren. Instead it's the squawk of traffic. And my own staccato heartbeat. As I rush outside and try my best to be a citizen again. Thank you for listening to my things. Stay safe, everyone, and stay creative.
One thing about Thailand is you never know what you're going to see next. Here we are in the middle of Pattaya, and of course there's a jumbo jet in the middle of I guess an empty block of land. Yeah, Thailand. Yeah, this 747 apparently is put here. They're supposed to be making a food park, like a food truck installation. Obviously due to COVID it's on hold, but I think we still plan to go ahead. But yeah, just a little example of the typical thing you may find as you just walk around the city of Pattaya. Okay, back to the poetry.
Series of letters to everything. Dear Toilet, we've spent a lot of time together, but if I'm to be completely honest, I wasn't always at my best. Dear Telephone, I throw this message in a bottle into the ocean in the hope it reaches you and we will one day reunite. It's been 3 months since the plane crash. I miss you. Dear whom I was concerned with before, I'm no longer concerned. So far as I'm concerned, you can go fuck yourself. Dear day, it's not the same now, it's night. Dear unnoticed piece of branch on the side of the road, Ireland 2010. I noticed. You know who you are. Props. Dear table of 6. You were such a sweet family. Dear stoplight, I would stop if I could. Dear person who wrote that letter about the thing that was stuck in Margaret's ear, you will be pleased to know we managed to widget it out with a claw hammer. Dear dairy, your milk. Dear sofa on the side of the road I never took home. Believe me, if it were up to me, I would have taken you home. I'm so sorry, but the Toyota Corolla would not allow it. Dear 19th century sideboard. Nice dovetail joints. The love story of a shit-talking wanker. Trust me. I'm a wanker. I love wankers. I trust you. Why do you love wankers? Dunno, just had a thing for wankers. Did you always love wankers? No, at one time I loved shit talkers. I loved the way they were so full of shit. Well, I used to be full of shit, but now I'm a wanker. Well, is there any other requirements? No, not really, just wanker. But if you're a shit-talking wanker, all the better. Let me tell you something. I can talk as much shit as any wanker here. I'll bet you can, she said, and threw her coat on a puddle. He walked on it like a complete wanker. And she ran to him and kissed him so deeply he felt his right leg lifting.
You have reached Vatnatyukut. Leave your message after the tone. Press 1 for last gasp gurgle. This is your glacier speaking. Press 2 For where were you when forests were burning? Press 3 to speak to a representative of the next generation. How do you say catastrophe in Icelandic? Press 4 for more information, more time, more delaying tactics. Sometimes a ticking time bomb drips.
Hello?
You have reached
Are you
the-
there? I can barely hear you.
Leave your message after the tone.
Must be a bad connection.
Last gasp.
A cry for help can sound like drowning. It's almost as though you're talking underwater.
Here we are at my little local market, keeping the mask on here for obvious reasons. Yeah, amazing. This is the life of Thailand. It's still going on here. Roadside stalls selling all sorts of delights. Yeah, very, very, very inexpensive as well. You easily get yourself some food here for $1 or $2. It'll be absolutely delicious. And back to the poetry.
Hello again. I hope you're enjoying tonight. I certainly am. It is now time for our retrospective feature. Mr. Steve Smart, who shall be reading the poetry of American poet Dorothy Parker. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy.
In April, my one love came along, and I ran the slope of my high hill to follow the thread of a song. His eyes were hard as porphyry, with looking on cruel lands. His voice went slipping over me like terrible silver hands. Together we trod the secret lane and walked the muttering town. I wore my heart like a wet red stain on the breast of a velvet gown. In April, my love went whistling by, and I stumbled here to my high hill along the way of a lie. Now what should I do in this place but sit and count the chimes and splash cold water on my face and spoil a page with rhymes? Around me other girls inspire, in men the rush and roar of fire, the sweet transparency of glass, the tenderness of April grass, the durability of granite, but me, I don't know how to plan it. The lads I've met in Cupid's deadlock were, shall we say, born out of wedlock. They broke my heart, they stilled my song, they said they had to run along. Explaining so to sop my tears, first came their parents or careers. But ever does experience deny me wisdom, calm, and sense, though she's a fool who seeks to capture the 21st fine careless rapture. I must go on till ends my rope, who from my birth was cursed with hope. A heart in half is chaste, archaic, but mine resembles a mosaic. The things become ridiculous. Why am I so? Why am I thus? This, no song of an ingenue. This, no ballad of innocence. This, the rhyme of a lady who followed her ever natural bents. This, a solo sapience. This, a shanty of sophistry. This, the sum of experiments. I loved them until they loved me. Decked in garments of sable hue, daubed with ashes of myriad lengths, wearing shower bouquets of rue, walk I ever in penitence. Oft I roam as my heart repents through God's acre of memory, marking stones in my reverence. I loved them until they loved me. Pictures pass me in long review, marching columns of dead events. I was tender and often true, ever a prey to coincidence. Always knew I the consequence, always saw what the end would be, whereas nature has made us. Hence, I loved them until they loved me. It's queer, she said, I see the light, as plain as I beheld it then, all silver-like and calm and bright. We've not had stars like that again. And she was such a gentle thing to birth a baby in the cold. The barn was dark and frightening. This new one's better than the old. I mind my eyes were full of tears, for I was young and quick distressed. But she was less than me in years, that held a son against her breast. I never saw a sweeter child, the little one, the darling one. I mind I told her when he smiled, you'd know he was his mother's son. It's queer that I should see them so. The time they came to Bethlehem was more than 30 years ago. I've prayed that all is well with them. This is the last time I'll look at the clock. I will not look at it again. It's 10 minutes past 7. He said he would telephone at 5 o'clock. I'll call you at 5, darling. I think that's where he said darling. I'm almost sure he said it there. I know he called me darling twice. And the other time was when he said goodbye. Goodbye, darling. He was busy and he can't say much in the office, but he called me darling twice. He couldn't have minded my calling him up. I know you shouldn't keep telephoning them. I know they don't like that. When you do that, they know you're thinking about them and wanting them, and it makes them hate you. But I hadn't talked to him in 3 days, not in 3 days. And all I did was ask him how he was. It was just the way anyone might have called him up. He couldn't have minded that. He couldn't have thought I was bothering him. No, of course not. You're not, he said. And he said he'd telephone me. He didn't have to say that. I didn't ask him to. Truly, I didn't. I'm sure I didn't. I don't think he would say he'd telephone me and then just never do it. Please don't let him do that, God. Please don't. If I don't drive around the park, I'm pretty sure to make my mark. If I'm in bed each night by 10, I may get back my looks again. If I abstain from fun and such, I'll probably amount to much. But I shall stay the way I am, because I do not give a damn. When one had put sex carefully away on the highest cupboard shelf, in a box marked Winter Hats 1916. It is somewhat melancholy to read a book by Tiffany Thayer. Melancholy, that is, in that no wistful memories whatever are thus evoked. Mr. Thayer, it is deplorably unnecessary to explain, has achieved great prominence in that school of American authors which may be described as the boys who ought to go regularly to the gym. He is beyond question a writer of power, and his power lies in his ability to make sex so thoroughly, graphically, and aggressively unattractive that one is fairly shaken to ponder how little one has been missing. Bewildered is the fox who lives to find that grapes beyond reach can be really sour. The more it snows, tiddly-pom, the more it goes, tiddly-pom. The more it goes, tiddly-pom, on snowing. And nobody knows, tiddly-pom, how cold my toes, tiddly-pom, how cold my toes, tiddly-pom, are growing. The above lyric is culled from the 5th page of Mr. A. Milne's new book, The House at Pooh Corner. For although the work is in prose, there are frequent droppings into more cadenced whimsy. This one is designated as a hum that pops into the head of Winnie the Pooh as he is standing outside Piglet's house in the snow, jumping up and down to keep warm. It seemed to him a good hum, such as is hummed hopefully to others. In fact, so good a hum did it seem that he and Piglet started right out through the snow to hum it hopefully to Eeyore. Oh, darn, there I've gone and given away the plot. I could bite my tongue out. As they are trotting against the flakes, Piglet begins to weaken a bit. Pooh, he said at last, and a little timidly, because he didn't want Pooh to think he was giving in. I was just wondering, how would it be if we went home now and practiced your song and then sang it to Eeyore tomorrow, or the next day when we happen to see him? That's a very good idea, Piglet, said Pooh. We'll practice it now as we go along. But it's no good going home to practice it because it's a special outdoor song which has to be sung in the snow. Are you sure? Asked Piglet anxiously. Well, you'll see, Piglet, when you listen, because this is how it begins. The more it snows, tiddly-pom. Tiddly what? Said Piglet. He took, as you might say, the very words out of your correspondent's mouth. Pom, said Pooh. I put that in to make it more hummy. And it is that word, hummy, my darlings, that marks the first place in House at Pooh Corner at which Tonstant Weeder flowed up. Perhaps the most congenial role of the good soul is that of advice giver. He loves to take people aside and have serious little personal talks, all for their own good. He thinks it only right to point out faults or bad habits which are, perhaps unconsciously, growing on them. He goes home and laboriously writes long, intricate letters, invariably beginning, although you may feel that this is no affair of mine, I think that you really ought to know, and so on, indefinitely. In his desire to help, he reminds one irresistibly of Marceline, who used to try so pathetically and so fruitlessly to be of some assistance in arranging the circus arena, and who brought such misfortunes on his own innocent person thereby. The good souls will, doubtless, gain their reward in heaven. On this earth, certainly, theirs is what is technically known as a rough deal. The most hideous outrages are perpetrated on them. Oh, he won't mind, people say, he's a good soul. And then they proceed to heap the rankest impositions upon him. When good souls give a party, people who have accepted weeks in advance call up at the last second and refuse, without the shadow of an excuse, save that of a subsequent engagement. Other people are invited to all sorts of entertaining affairs. The good soul, unasked, waves them a cheery goodbye and hopes wistfully that they will have a good time. His is the uncomfortable seat in the motor. He is the one to ride backwards in the train. He is one who is always chosen to solicit subscriptions and make up deficits. People borrow his money, steal his servants, lose his golf balls, use him as a sort of errand boy, leave him flat whenever something more attractive offers, and carry it all off with their cheerful slogan, "Oh, he won't mind, he's a good soul." And that's just it. Good souls never do mind. After each fresh atrocity, they are more cheerful, forgiving, and virtuous, if possible, than they were before. There is simply no keeping them down. Back they come with their little gifts and their little words of advice and their little endeavors to be of service, always anxious for more. Yes, there can be no doubt about it. Their reward will come to them in the next world. Would that they were even now enjoying it. My own dear love, he is strong and bold, and he cares not what comes after. His words ring sweet as a chime of gold, and his eyes are lit with laughter. He is jubilant as a flag unfurled, oh, a girl should not forget him. My own dear love, he is all my world, and I wish I'd never met him. My love, he's mad, my love, he's fleet, and a wild young wood thing bore him. The ways are fair to his roaming feet, and the skies are sunlit for him. As sharply sweet to my heart he seems as the fragrance of acacia. My own dear love, he is all my dreams, and I wish he were in Asia. My love runs by like a day in June, and he makes no friends of sorrows. He'll tread his galloping rigadoon in the pathway of the morrows. He'll live his days where the sunbeams start, nor could storm or wind uproot him. My own dear love, he is all my heart, and I wish somebody'd shoot him. Daily dawns another day. I must up to make my way. Though I dress and drink and eat, move my fingers and my feet, learn a little here and there, weep and laugh and sweat and swear, hear a song or watch a stage, leave some words upon a page, claim a foe or hail a friend, bed awaits me at the end. Though I go in pride and strength, I'll come back to bed at length. Though I walk in blinded woe, back to bed I'm bound to go. High my heart or bowed my head, all my days but lead to bed. Up and out and on and then never back to bed again. Summer, winter, spring, and fall, I'm a fool to rise at all. Then we will have tonight, we said. Tomorrow, may we not be dead. The morrow touches our eyes and found us walking firm above the ground. Our pulses quick, our blood delight. Tomorrow's gone, we'll have tonight.
Thank you, Steve. I really enjoyed that. You definitely brought the poetry of Dorothy Parker to life with your own unique style. And now, back to the open section.
Yeah, now you join me in Walking Street, Pattaya. This is probably one of the areas that's been the worst hit by the pandemic. As you can see around here, everything is closed and boarded up. Before the pandemic, this was basically the tourist centre of Pattaya. This road normally, you can see all the vehicles going by, but normally this would be a pedestrianised area in the evening, which is absolutely teeming with bars and go-go bars and nightclubs. You name it, all sorts of stuff going on here. Thousands of people visiting every day from all around the world, walking up and down this street. Really, really sad to see it in such a desolate state. But that's the COVID world we are living in, unfortunately.
Beware the leery boulder dash, my child, its shiny veneer, the clickety-clack of nonsense words, of venal smiles, mild manners, and bland, ungrand corporate hacks. Stand agog, wry a flog, fly a blog, wild run into worlds of words beyond the paper trail of plausible deniability, dull checkability and blingless billing cycles. With virtual vorpal, onwards avante, ale, out past where the Borough and shingle beaches lie. Cover yourself in glory, beamish boy, wrap yourself in a tartan rug. Pause to listen to waves, sea, sound and gravity. Let's turn our backs on the clickety-clack of keyboards and faxes, burn a bridge, smoke some toast, get the ocelot to fill a tureen with ink, and let a quill scratch like hens in the garden of your mind. Turning earth, finding earworms and bulbs, soil warm, goosey loose and free as ideas. Flee from the wave, go Gaia and gimbal and take wing into the luminous blue. Don't know about you, but when I'm feeling anxious or worried about stuff, I turn to mathematics, which not for all. And one of my favourite books is Famous Problems of Geometry and How to Solve Them. This is a piece that's somewhat found and a little bit not. Famous Problems of Geometry and How to Solve Them. 1. Achievements of the Ancient Greeks. Do not doubt, my sweet, everything is a pain to love, from fresh morning coffee to the starry canvas of a crisp autumn evening. 2. An analytic criterion for constructability. Love is not random. It is a glorious process, complex, changing, and conscious at every step. 3. Complex numbers. Love is not linear. Fill a thermos, pack a lunch, and venture off-piste. 4. The Dalian problem. Love's lost, love's gained, boy meets girl, boy meets whoever. We all just do what we can. 5. The problem of trisecting an angle. You know, this isn't really a problem. Not with help. We choose our own rules. Mostly equal, mostly works. 6. The problem of constructing regular polygons. Little imperfections make for perfection. Wabi-sabi, kintsugi, the buzz of an amp. All have more joy than cookie-cutter shapes. 7. Concluding remarks. Do not doubt, my sweet, everything is pain to love. From fresh morning coffee to the starry canvas of a crisp autumn evening. Thank you.
Waratah curls up, dresses the wind, stretches to red morning sun, bows a crimson head to the brown-red earth at dusk. Talapea speciosima, Waratah shine, Wirrambirra white, untouched by the blood of the wonga pigeon. No hawk attack here, floating on water, a flower tendril fist. Talopea aspera, Talopea mogenesis, Waratah spirit, Waratah kiss, Talopea arades, Talopea truncata, Waratah heart, Waratah bliss, Waratah curls up, dresses the wind. Spin and risk, the dance of sticks, juggling dragons hiss, splitting the wind, fire devil dervish spins from the wrist, spiralling fire fish flow back to my sticks. Flow back to my sticks, spiralling fire fish, spins from the wrist, fire devil dervish, splitting the wind, juggling dragons hiss, the dance of sticks, spin and risk. The dance of sticks, spin and risk, juggling dragons hiss, splitting the wind. Fire devil dervish spins from the wrist, spiralling fire fish flow back to my sticks.
So this is Soy 6 in Pattaya. Definitely one of the party central streets of the city. Absolutely teeming with all manner of go-go bars and all sorts of adult entertainment. Yeah, you definitely would not want to be walking down here pre-COVID if you value your personal space. You're going to get your bits grabbed every 5 yards walking down here as the girls and the ladyboys try and drag you into their respective establishments. Yeah, interesting place, very interesting place. But like everywhere in Pattaya right now, very, very quiet. Everything's closed. All these bars are. There's a little bit of activity going on in some the barber shops and things, but yeah, the usual thing that Soy 6 is famous for, very much not happening at the moment.
I ichi van nochu. Dodajte moje dimpare. Entropie. Me zakačen oduševljena. Na kvantnoj razini. Kolektivno nesvjesno poput. Još jedna od mnogih stvari. Okom ne razumiju. Masu maj nesreća. Magnetizam poraza. Što bi naši stari rekli? Što će mi reći? Kada smo? Preći? I ispunite glavu s ničim. Ništa bježi. Moja obavijest u natječanju između. Gate i vrata entropije ozvoji oči dolje, dolje, ruke dolje, dolje. Dima filteri svjetlo pada na nas iz prošlosti.
Well, a yo-ho and ahoy to you too. Here's the suburban sea shanty for all you apartment living lovers. Now, rouse her right up, boys, for old idea town. Timmy way, hey, mow the grass down. We'll mow the grass up and we'll mow the grass down. Oh, give us some time to mow the grass down. We lay off the street of Old Yalon. Timmy way, hey, mow the grass down. We lowered 2 notches to make the grass shorter. Oh, give us some time to mow the grass down. Then we'll grow the grass up and we'll mow the grass down. Timmy way, hey, mow the grass down. We'll mow him right over in old our dear town. Oh, give us some time to mow the grass down. Hey, stand by your whippers and stand by your flails. Timmy way, hey, mow the grass down. We'll mow him clean over in old our dear town. Oh, give us some time to mow the grass down.
No more con men in guru pose. No more soapbox preachers telling me Satan's got my soul. No more sons of God. No more TV evangelists singing praise the Lord, amen. No more Jehovah's knocking on my door selling Bibles at 8 a.m. No more missionaries treating Aboriginals as ignorant. No more flak jacket messiahs wanting a war till the end. No more messiahs preaching there's life after death. No more messiahs seducing young girls into sex. No more messiahs taking your money and giving you debt. Sham men reciting religious texts to satisfy their own ends. Selling the biggest gimmick of all, that he'll save your soul, that you'll ascend to a beautiful world. How sad the real lesson they learned was how to conform, following their sham messiah to death. No more messiahs, and no more presidents.
When I'm sad, I watch the Kardashians while I cry on my poor dog. He tolerates the tears with a puzzled look, unaware that sometimes there is so much to cry over. Kim Kardashian, something of a relief. Wide hips are finally desirable. She is a Venus of Willendorf with a thickly painted face. She reminds me of Cher. Her mother's best friend was murdered a long time ago, reduced to a token, forever voiceless, in the hype and hippodrome of the 6 o'clock news that I stopped watching. I can't stand the reports about little children washed up on beaches, about indiscriminate drone strikes, about macabre injuries of war, the destitution of the poor. I can't stand how most of us are only a hair's breadth from ruin. I hate the obscene inequality of everything. So, sedate me, anesthetize me, suspend my worries, feed my fantasies, make me forget what I have done, cause me to believe in the dream, to be famous with a giant house and a red carpet, a minute bug-eyed dog, a couture gown that needs to be sewn on. My dream? Except it was never my dream. I only thought it was taught it was. My dream is for peaceful days, blissful sleep, happy children, an abundance of trees, a shoulder to cry on, a voice to sing the sweetest songs that will never be silenced, and the time, the money, the space for a dog.
So one area that has come back to life a little bit since we got our restrictions relaxed a week or so ago is the beach. We've got this really quite nice promenade, which is very handy for walking along. And as you see beside me, the beach is actually starting to come back to life. All of this stuff was just completely closed. They were not allowing even people to go onto the beach up until a week ago. But now all the little beachside stalls are opening up again, the umbrellas are there, and as you can see, there's quite a few people enjoying the beach today in Pattaya. So that's definitely a plus for the economy here.
Hello again. 'Tis now time for our second feature, Laura Fisher, convener of the very popular and successful reading Girls on Key. Talented and entertaining. Laura's poetry is full of wit and wonder, and, well, I'm a fan. So, sit back and relax and enjoy the poetry of Laura Fisher.
Hi, welcome to my Poetryspective YouTube feature. you're watching on YouTube, but I am lucky enough to perform in front of a live studio audience. Okay, so let's meet the audience. I'm really happy that we have Jeremy Fisher with us here tonight. As you can tell from my accent, I'm from England and most of my relatives couldn't make it, but Jeremy has come all the way from a small pond in Hertfordshire. We might not be closely related since the late Carboniferous period, but what's a few genetic differences? Family is family. And also from England, we have Kate Bush. Great to have you here, Kate. We had to sort of sneak her through hotel quarantine because we wanted to get her to the audience on time. Please don't tell anyone. Another lady who skipped hotel quarantine is Tori Amos. Oh, great to have you here, Tori. And we also have the Beatles. Now, I know what you're going to say. 2 of them ought to be dead, but, you know, we've got a bit of time travel going on here. And great to see you looking all so young and happy. Now, all the way from California, we've got Rancid. Oh, dear, Tim's swearing at me. Oh, Tim, I think the other 3 dragged him here. I don't think he's a fan of my poetry. Hopefully I can change his mind tonight. And all the way from the 1st century, it's Jesus. Oh, thanks for coming, Jesus. Well, you know, you might as well be in the audience. You're always watching anyway, so why not be part of the crowd and enjoy the show? And we've got some serious time travel going on here. We've got some Tyrannosaurus Rexes in. Ah, great to have you here, boys. Let me introduce you. We've got Matthew, Mark and Luke. Now, John is performing in the show tonight and they're all here to support him. And, some other smaller variations on the T-Rex. I'm not quite sure exactly of the genetic origins. I don't know if anyone is. And we also had a Diplodocus, but he's refusing to sit with the T-Rexes. Hang on. What? Who's that? Who's that? Is that you, Thatcher? Get out. Get out. I've told you we don't want you in here. I've chucked you out before. What was that, Jeremy? What, you invited her? Oh, dear. You just can't predict your family's political persuasion sometimes. Thatcher, out. Do you know what? She doesn't want to listen anyway, Jeremy. The last time she was here, she talked all through my show about how it was so mean she got chucked out of the Conservative Party. Isn't that right, Kate? Yeah, Kate was stuck next to her last time. Oh, Kate's too polite to say anything about it, but I could tell that she was bored. Anyway, so that's the live studio audience. Thanks for coming, everyone. Please remember to turn your phones off in the show, which won't be a problem for you guys, because mobile phones haven't been invented from your period. But, Tori, make sure your phone's off. I think it went off last time. Okay, so let's sit back and enjoy the show. The first sin and its punishment. Did I ever tell you that God's a chimpanzee? Well, not the God of everything, but the God of you and me. Chilka, to be precise. Great uncle in the tree. It was millions of years ago. Let me try and set the scene. Did I ever tell you that Eden had no ground? For when hand-like feet could hover, then safety could be found. For the earth was filled with danger. Ah! Ah! The like rarely seen today, but in fruity leafy branches our ancestors hid away. God don't have no smooth face. In fact, he's very hairy. And so are all the angels who hang on high in heavenly branches. God said to the archangel, "It's getting crowded up here. Food is stretched, bellies unfulfilled. We need a sparser sphere." Then his own tummy rumbled, and he set his sights on Eve. "She eats the most," God complained, "and I've warned her against her greed." Eve knew she was in trouble. "Chimp Satan said I could." "He's not the boss," God snapped, "and I've seen Adam scoffing too." Adam gulped in fear, for he'd seen life outside the trees. Giant eagles swooped. Ah! Hyenas, leopards pounced. Oh! Hyenas had bone-crushing teeth. Adam wanted to be an angel, so he tried to shift the blame. She gave me the fruit and I ate, he explained, and Eve was guilty again. But necessity is the mother of loyalty. In time they would be friends. God conferred with the angels. We are strong, we can decide. He pointed to the savannah. Let us create humankind. Some doubted it could be endured, for there were beasts with mighty speed. Ah! But God was alpha male, so they dared not disagree. Humans will sweat and toil to get the least of what they need. Won't they perish? Archangel asked. Just you wait and see. Thanks to God, we had to run. There's no safety in the trees. Yet the hunted became the hunters. Then the animals weren't free. The fear and dread of you shall rest on every animal on earth. Into your hands they are delivered. For thousands of years, chimps didn't care. There was room for human attitude. But each creature had its reckoning, for humans always subdue. Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and subdue it and have dominion over all the fish of the sea. There's all the fish in the sea. And over all the birds in the air. I've only got 3 birds for you. The birds of the air. And over every living thing that lives on earth. Now the chimpanzees are moving, and they may be angels, but to which of the angels did God ever say, "You are my son, today I have begotten you"? We farmed and we fenced, built structures higher than the trees. We even fenced the rainforest in, so we curbed the chimpanzees. But did not God say, just as I give you the green plants, I give you everything. The trees are green and part of everything. Chop down the trees. When trees are gone, demand thrives on. Plant what can regrow quickly. Trees to farm or the cocoa bean. God is able to bless you abundantly. But is this greed, want or need? Does our appetite have validity? For when God gave us the earth, was this really what he meant? Or was he just trying to pacify us as he tipped us out the fold into naked, sun-scorched uncertainty, and then God lost control? I first met my heart when it blobbed out on the earth, seeping steadily, blood to ground. Soon the red spread all around. Before, we'd only spoken on the phone, sent a few emails, and back in the day there had been faxing. Yet now I face my heart, if I stare straight down, like a scarlet slug, a liquid sighing water bomb. One quick smack and the whole thing's gone. And who can stitch up disposable rubber to gather together emotional blubber? I carried on heartless, feeling more than ever, with nothing to give. Turned out I had spare. The more that was taken, the more that was there. Supplies and supplies, oh, the sensitive me, with moods made of china, dreams as deep as the sea. Perhaps that bloody bogey my chest had hacked up wasn't really my heart. It was just something yuck. Or perhaps hearts are like eggs in the ovaries. Thousands for a lifetime. Endless possibilities. Yet I don't feel centred. I have no centred core. I'm spewing and spreading, can't take any more. So I pray to the heavens, to the spirits, to the trees. It doesn't really matter. Who will listen to me? Please make my heart indomitable, So it grew to the size of an oak, its case as tough as stiff bark skin, with a spine like the base of a bed. All was mighty, towering, bulky, monumental. Yet one stormy night, a single crack of lightning split my trunk heart apart. Electricity jumped from twig to roots, leaving cooked smoky bark. So I prayed to the fairies for a heart made of reeds, something that can duck and bend, not an organ that easily bleeds. I pray to boggits, dwarves, trolls and gnomes, for they are small and shifty. A heart that can swerve and dodge is much more thrifty. Yet I haven't got a heart of reeds, so still I pray and pray. If I don't get the core I need, I won't live out all my days. The challenging looming up ahead is worse now more than ever. Please grant me a heart of reeds, so that I may live forever. Hello, today I'm going to tell you the same story from two differing perspectives. To tell the story we have Eve, played by Fairy. Hello. And Adam, played by Dinosaur. Hello. Okay, let's start. In the beginning, the earth was a dark and formless void, 6,000 years ago. In the beginning, the earth was a melting toxic mass, 4.6 billion years ago. From up on high God blew, and his breath descended upon earth as sweeping winds skimming waters. Meteorites sucked, flocked, crashed, struck, merged, growing. This will be more than just another space rock. God's next gift was light, as simple as his word. He separated it from night, so we live in black and white. Mightier than earth was Thea. She passed like a tidal wave and struck like a bomb. Moon crumbled off. She could no longer be part of Earth, but she'd never leave him. She rotated around like he was the sun, and Earth spun at Moon's mercy in a quick 6-hour loop. Water rolled low and water churned high. God constructed a dome to separate. Did you know? Up in the sky wells an ocean of love. The floods down below were gathered together, continents to its left and right. The stage is set for life. The meteorite rain continued to fall. Some of these travelling rocks brought water particles, and over billions of years oceans were formed, a few drops at a time. Don't you know that great love gathers consistently and slowly? Continents to its left and right. The stage is set for life. It did not take God long to crowd the world that he had created. Such was his power, imagination, and work ethic. In just one day, he filled the sea and the skies, from the plainest of fish to the fiercest of sea beasts. And up in the dome flew birds of every kind, from the graceful strokes of mighty wings to the zimming hum of tiny flaps. Diversity with ease. God saw that it was good, so he continued. The next day, he filled the continents with reptiles, amphibians, insects, and mammals of every kind. The slither, the crawl, the scuttle, the paw pad, and the beating hoof. There was an efficient quality control check, and God saw that it was good. Behold the tale of life, with both wonder and tears. Rocks begat amino acids. These clustered into single-cell organisms, gulping sulfur and carbon dioxide. What is toxic to us was their lifeline, until the rise of the stromatolites. Stromatolites photosynthesized, begat oxygen and poisoned the rest. There was an oxygen flood, there was an oxygen holocaust, there was an oxygen revolution. There was a chance for complex life, and the opportunity was taken. The next revolution was shells, as life armoured itself in the rocks that had birthed it. Then followed the vertebrates, wearing their shells on the inside. Skeletons evolved with jaws to bite. Skeletons evolved with legs to walk. Skeletons evolved to reach great heights. Across the continents, dinosaurs strode. But just remember, with the creation of every new creature, there will be another joining the ranks of extinction. Behold the tale of life with both wonder and tears. It is easy to separate the time when God created humankind. It was a new day, and God was ready to make a creature in the image of himself and his angel associates. Dust was the only component in God's starter kit, and from dust Adam was formed. Inanimate, lifeless, God blew consciousness into Adam through his nostrils, gave him a garden with good plants of every kind, offered him his pick of the animal kingdom to choose a best friend. Adam definitely rejected the crocodile, and whilst he considered the cat or the dog, he found that none of them were quite right. So the ever-helpful God anaesthetised Adam. And while he was unconscious, God took a spare rib to create Eve with. Eve was sexy, and she could hold a conversation. And while she may have been made from mere bone, Adam was made from dust. So it's not really that unequal, is it? But God gave Adam the right to name our gender, and he called us woman. It's hard to separate the creation of humans from the creation of placental mammals. We owe a debt to the stem mammals, the ones who changed the structure of their skulls, who shed their scales for fur, who pulled their legs up straight to stride instead of scuttle. We owe a debt to the ones who began to lactate. Behold the true mammal! How small the bodies, but how large the brains. Teeth with peaks and valleys to puncture, shear, grind and rip. Behold mammalia diversity, and watch those monkeys climb down from trees. The tails shrink, the lower back stiffens, size ever increasing. The great ape is a force to be reckoned with, but still he is chased by megafauna. Stand up, hominin, shed your fur to sweat, sweat to outrun them all. Rotate your thumbs, build your tools, turn around. Now it is humans who will chase, and all the rest will run.
Thank you, Laura. That was so good. I laughed heartily, as I'm sure everyone else watching did. Thank you so much. And now, back to the open section.
Έχω ένα σπίτι που μυρίζει θυμάρι, πέρα από τα βουνά, κάτω εκεί. Έχω μια αγάπη, λαγκάδια και όρη, λιβάδια παπαρούνες σαν τρέξω, ίσως την βρω. Έχω ένα σπίτι, μα δεν ξέρω που είναι. Το έχω χαμένο στα όνειρα μέσα και δεν μπορώ να το βρω. Όσο και αν ψάχνω στα όνειρα μέσα, δρόμος κανένας δεν οδηγεί. Λαγκάδια και όρη, λιβάδια παπαρούνες, σαν τρέχω και ψάχνω, να το βρω δεν μπορώ. Μα βλέπω καπνό στο βάθος του ορίζοντα. Το σπίτι μου θα είναι και η αγάπη μου μέσα, ανάβει τον τζάκι, για μένα ναι πλέκει, εμέ καρτερά. Λαγκάδια και όρη, στα όνειρα μέσα, ίσως την βρω. The translation in English. I have a home that smells like thyme beyond the mountains, down there across the borders. I have a love, valleys and mountains, poppy meadows, while leaping I might find her. I have a house, but I do not know where it is. I lost it in my dreams, and I cannot find it. As much as I look inside the dreams, no road leads. Valleys and mountains, poppy meadows, while running and looking, I cannot find it. But I see smoke at the end of the horizon. It must be my home, it must be. And my love inside, lighting the fireplace, knitting for me, waiting for me, while leaping canyons and mountains. Inside my dreams I might find her.
This area has become the real epicenter of activity in Pattaya right now. As you can see, there's bikes and people everywhere. It's called Soy Bacau. It's got a few bars and things that we used to have, not now, but the food establishments are open here, and this is a pretty fun place to be. Lots of great food around here, and as you can see, there is life.
Trigger warning! Trigger warning! Those who are triggered by the triggers in this trigger warning will be triggered by this trigger warning's triggers. Alarm! Do not be alarmed by the alarm! Which sounds the alarm whenever I announce the word alarm. However alarming this alarm is, you should be alert but not alarmed for this alarm. Don't panic. Don't panic. The sound of panic emitted on the word panic is no reason to panic. So don't panic, as it is no cause for alarm. No, not even grounds for general consternation. Though possibly cause for slight unease. Uh-oh. But certainly no cause for panic at the sound of panic. So don't panic. Above all, relax. Lean back and relax. Take time to calm down and relax. At the relaxing sound of a person having a relax. At the word relax. Not worrying about the alarm caused by the word panic, or the panic initiated by the alarm. No, simply relax. Enjoy yourself and relax. 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 No need to panic! Thank you very much.
This is called Medical History by Nicole Seeley. I've been pregnant. I've had sex with a man who's had sex with men. I can't sleep. My mother's mother had asthma. My father had a stroke. My father's mother has high blood pressure. Both grandfathers died from diabetes. I drink. I don't smoke. Xanax for flying. Propranolol for anxiety. My eyes are bad. I'm spooked by the wind. Cousin Lily died from an aneurysm. Aunt Hilda, a heart attack. Uncle Ken, wise as he was hit by a car, as if to disprove whatever theory towards which I write. And, I understand, the stars in the sky are already dead. A short poem to take your breath away by Mike Philpott. The committee weighs in. I tell my mother I've won the Nobel Prize. Again, she says, which discipline this time? It's a little game we play. I pretend I'm somebody. She pretends she isn't dead. This is some subway poetry from the London Tube. Hearing an alarm, putting on a tie, carrying a handbag, receptionists, caffeine-filled air, taking a lift, seeing your second family, water cooler conversations, proper bants, the boss's jokes, plastic plants, Office gossip, those weird carpets, face-to-face meetings. Not having to make lunch, CCing. BCCing, accidentally replying all. Hearing buzzwords, leaving early for a cheeky afternoon in the sun. Disinfect surfaces we use throughout the day so we can all do it again tomorrow. The little things we do to help protect the little things we love. Keep protecting.
And here we are once again at the end of another Poetryspective. You join me now on the top of my condo building on the 30th floor, looking across the panoramic city view of Pattaya behind me. Just want to say a big thank you for everyone who's sending videos for today's show. Much appreciated. We are considering doing this again, so by all means, if you've enjoyed this show and didn't contribute, or you've contributed this time but want to contribute again, yeah, please feel free to send us in a video, and as soon as we've got enough, once again, we'll put on another show for you. As usual, I want to thank our wonderful features, Laura Fisher and Steve Smart, and the indomitable Lish Skek, who manages to help me pull all this stuff together. She sources all our features, gets everything done, and I just do the monkey work on the computer. So yeah, no, thanks Lish, as always. Love your work, thanks. Okay everyone, so from a lovely, warm, somewhat cloudy but pretty pleasant Pattaya in Thailand, take care everyone, look after yourselves, stay safe, and we will see you next time. This is Colin signing off. See you now.
Bye. Thanks for watching.